So I have been away for the past week licking my wounds, literally licking my wounds. I have felt so deceived. For the past couple of weeks since Charlie Kirk's funeral, I have just felt completely detached to how I felt before. I'm leaning on the Lord so much in prayer. I'm revealing this to you guys because I don't want you guys deceived the way I was deceived. I want to see everybody get into the kingdom. I want to see everybody around the Lord's table in His truth. So Charlie Kirk's funeral led me down a rabbit hole. I was watching Donald Trump, I was watching Elon Musk, I was watching how the crowd reacted to the speeches, I was watching Erica Kirk, and I found the whole thing really bizarre. There were hand symbols used at the funeral. There was the Merkel rhombus diamond sign, which was used by Elon Musk and Donald Trump. There was this sign that was used by Erica Kirk, which can mean I love you in sign language, but also it is a Satanist sign. So if you don't want to look too much into that, you know, okay, so you could go like this and not look too much into that, but then there was a ritual of spirituality which was used in Charlie Kirk's funeral. It was an AI voice, and I know that most of you have watched it, so you'll know this. There was an AI voice that was Charlie Kirk's voice after he had passed away, leaving a message to everyone who was at that funeral. And to me, that is just that is something of ancient Rome. That is like Constantine all over again. You know, that is spirituality. I thought it was really disturbing. It's like a modern day rally, this funeral. The way the crowd was like a Roman Empire meeting back in the day. It was like a rally for Constantine. That's what it felt like for me watching it. It wasn't the usual thing where Erica Kirk was with her kids and, you know, she would have his parents, her parents, and, you know, they would be emotional, they've just lost a loved one, etc. It wasn't a funeral like that. It was a mission. It was a rally. The agenda seemed to be mixing politics with religion. But not faith in Jesus Christ, just religious practices. The whole thing was bizarre anyway. That led me down a rabbit hole. Because after that I saw Keir Starmer announcing the digital IDs, you know, a couple of weeks on, and he was also doing this rhombus sign. What are they all in some sort of like secret society or something? He was doing the Merkel rhombus sign too, and I just thought to myself, right, maybe my thoughts are worthy, maybe I'm onto something here. So I started looking into Donald Trump. He presents himself as a godly man, right? He presents himself as a God-fearing, holy man. With my findings, you couldn't be more wrong. So the way I'm saying they're all doing the same signs and symbols, I found out that Charlie Kirk's dad, that they're all in on this together. They're like master puppeteers. I found out that Charlie Kirk's father was the architect for Donald Trump's Trump Tower. Trump doesn't live in this tower. It's literally like the Tower of Babylon. On the ceiling, you'll see Abaddon and his chariot and his horse, Abaddon the Destroyer, that is Apollo. On the mantelpiece, you'll see Abaddon the Destroyer with his chariot and horse. It's like a statue of him. If you don't know who that is, it's Zeus's son, the one that leads the locusts out of the bottomless pit in Revelation in the Bible. A very, very, very dark character. There's a Muhammad Ali tribute book worth $15,000 on Trump's coffee table. Lots of other Greek mythology surrounding the room, and also dedications to Lucifer himself. Really isn't ringing any Christian bells for me. And like I say, I think it's really, really important that nobody in this world is deceived by these puppets. In Trump's first presidency, he went to Jerusalem. He received the crown of Jerusalem, which completely fills the prophecy of Psalms 136 verses 1. On April 25th, Trump went to the Pope's funeral. After that, he proceeded to post tweets of himself on social media dressed as the Pope. It was an AI image of him as the Pope. March the 25th in 2025, that was the Greek Independence Day, Trump went to Greece and he called parallel to the great Emperor Constantine 2nd of September, he met all the European leaders where he sounded like he was the boss. Everybody else in the room just seemed irrelevant. It's him doing all the talking. The 3rd of September, he met with the Australian president. September the 16th, he wined and dined with the King and Queen in the UK. He walked in front of the King when the King was doing his inspection of the guards, which is completely unheard of. It shows you how Trump sees himself in the grand scheme of things. February the 27th, he got a letter from King Charles asking him to join the Commonwealth. It's almost like an Augustus Julius Caesar figure, right? In fact, he made an AI image on social media of himself, dressed as Julius Caesar. And since we're on revealing, I'll let you guys know, the 23rd of September this year, the Feast of Trumpets was apparently celebrated. But I know in ancient Judaism, the Feast of Trumpets cannot be celebrated without the new moon. That's what they waited for to start their Rosh Hashanah holiday. It was the new moon had to be in the sky, basically. So the 23rd is just sort of like a willy-nilly date that was picked, you know? Or was it? Because I found out later that day, on the 23rd of September this year, that it was actually Julius Caesar's birthday. Coincidence much? I think not, because the Roman Emperor Constantine changed all the Christmas dates back in the day from Christmas to Easter. This is just one of those dates. It has been changed also to suit the Roman Empire's agenda. I wanted to mix Christianity with paganism. All the dates from the Gregorian calendar were then changed. And if that wasn't enough, on the 10th of September, when Charlie Kirk was unalived, I saw a trailer that Nicolas Cage was starring in a horror film called The Carpenter's Son, and it's all about Jesus Christ. The same Nicolas Cage acted in a film in 1998 called Snake Eyes. Nicolas Cage was a detective in this movie, Snake Eyes, and it's about a public figure who went to a boxing match and was assassinated. The public figure was called Charlie Kirkland, and the assassinator was called Tyler, and he was assassinated in the movie on September 10th in front of a crowd full of people. You can guess where the bullet went. So if this was all pre-planned then, so that just showed me, and that really made me feel so deceived. You know, when 9/11 happened, that it was also predicted by The Simpsons. When I say predicted, not predicted because it was all pre-planned, because The Simpsons were able to tell us about the Twin Towers before it happened. The thing has happened now with Charlie Kirk. Like I said, I've been licking my wounds over this for the past week. I've been watching him for years, and I had no idea that these guys are all just master puppets of darkness. They're not what they seem. I on left wing, right wing, conservative, nationalism, Democrats lean on the Lord. So the same president of Britain at the time of 9/11 was Tony Blair. Tony Blair is now trying to buy Gaza through the Trump administration. He's trying to rule Gaza through the Trump administration. Tony Blair was also the one who had these Brit ID cards all planned 5 years ago. You can see that they're all in on it together, because at 9/11 Tony Blair had a meeting with George W. Bush before George W. Bush addressed his nation and his Congress about the tragedy of 9/11. If it was any other country in the world, the president would have just gone ahead and made the speech, but no, we had to have a meeting with Tony Blair first in the Blue Room before he announced anything. See what all this is, see who they are, and focus on Christ. God bless. Don't be deceived.